The other thing you want to do is use the news now. And if you don't subscribe to the Business Journal or go to onlinebusinessjournals.twincities.com, you're missing an important resource. In the Business Journal, which is the business press for the Twin Cities area, you will find what's happening in organizations. And from my perspective as a seller, I am constantly looking for where are there opportunities. And you read in the business press, this company is going through a merger. It doesn't say job opportunity there, it says a merger. And so your challenge becomes, how can you read the business press to think about these happenings in a way that shows, that gets you thinking, okay, they're going through a merger. What might this mean? What kind of issues and problems might they have that are relevant to what I can do? Might they be trying to achieve some goals that I can help them achieve? And this is where the entrepreneur starts coming in, because this is where you start finding out the real opportunities. They are there in the business press. You follow the business press and you see that this company is downsizing. You see that this company is moving. You see this company is expanding. You see this other company has just introduced a whole new product line. There are so many things in the Business Journal I can't tell you. It's all there if you're trying to get a job in business. But most people don't look. And if they do, they quick flip through. But you can use the news to find opportunities that no one else is looking for. And then you can use the news to contact a company and to create a job that does not exist today, if that's what you want to do, or to create a company that can solve the problem that this company is facing or help them achieve their goals. So now how do you get in touch? And what do you say when you get in touch? That's always the conundrum with people. What do you say? Hi, this is Jill. I'm calling to see if you have any job openings in your XYZ department. And on the other end of the phone you hear, no. Send in your resume, you can send it to HR. And how many calls have you made like that? I'm calling to see if you have any openings. Wrong question. Wrong question. What you're calling to do is to see, you have ideas. You're bright people. You've been thinking a lot. You've got all this talent. You've got all this energy. My God, you've got all this energy. It's been waiting to get out there right now and do something. So you've got more than the average human being that just wants to be applied in the right field. So you need to call them and think about approaching them as somebody who is a peer. Because if you read the press, and if you study their company, and if you go on their website, and you see something that gets you thinking, that gives you an idea, then you'll want to contact the person who'd be in charge of that, which would usually be the person who might be your boss. But rather than calling up to say, I'm seeing if you're going to add in any staff in this area, I want you to think about calling a friend, because you know how to call a friend. And if you read something about your friend's business and you saw it, you would call your friend up and you would say, you know, John, I was just reading on your website about this, and I noticed that this is happening, and I've got some ideas for you. That's what you'd say to a friend, wouldn't you? You'd call up a friend. Hi, John. This is Jill. I was researching that problem that you mentioned on your website, or I noticed that in 2010, one of your primary goals this year is to achieve this. I have some ideas. Or I know that one of the big issues that people face when they do this, because I've worked in that field for a long time, I know that some of the big issues that they face are this. I've got some ideas. And now you are literally thinking as if you were working for them. You don't hold back. You start thinking about how can I do the work for them before you work for them. Because then they will want to hire you because you're already working for them. Does that make sense? It's a real difference. Instead of calling and saying, I'm trying to find a job, I'm so desperate. Start using your brains, which you've got a whole bunch of because you're smart people, you've done a lot in your life, and now start creating opportunities by getting on the phone and contacting somebody. Let's look at some examples. I just created a couple examples just to show you. Marcus, this is Heather Anderson calling. In driving past your offices the other day, I saw that you were expanding. I've worked with other trucking firms in the past, helping them improve their customer service. At my last company, I suggested an idea that resulted in big savings at the same time we kept our service levels. Can we set up a time to talk? Do you see the difference in this between, do you have any jobs in customer service? This is a way that allows you to use your expertise, what you're good at, what you've studied for, what you know already. You can learn about companies ahead of time and call them as if you're a colleague, because you are. Just because you're a job seeker doesn't make you the dregs of the earth who have to beg for their time. You bring value. You have something to offer. This brings you in a whole different way. Imagine if somebody said, that's interesting. Why don't you come in? Are you applying for a job then? No. You're having a conversation as an intelligent person who brings value, which is what you would do if you were in your workplace again. It's what you would do if you were employed. That's what you do. Now, as somebody who is an entrepreneur and who wants, if you want to be like me when you grow up, that's what I do. I find problems. I find companies who are having problems. And I have been unemployed since 1986. And what do? I look for problems. And I know what kind of problems I solve well. Right now, the problem I'm solving well, most of my clients, when their salespeople call the companies are so busy and so overworked that nobody answers the phone. All calls roll to voicemail, and nobody calls them back. Sound familiar? I know how to help people. I know how to help sales organizations who are struggling with new client acquisition. That's what I do. But see, you can do things like that too if you start searching for problems. You can go in as a consultant. You can go in as a special project and be someone who brings ideas to the table because you've been doing the homework ahead of time. And you can charge good money for that too. You don't have to just do an exercise. Now, if any of you want to do that, a lot of people will say to me, yeah, but I've never done that before. And I would look back at you and say, you've been doing it your whole life. You just haven't had that title. So get over it. You know, you've done it in your previous job. You wouldn't be trying to do this work if you didn't know how to do it. And you can use all your past experience and bring it along with you. It is your life. It's what you know. And just because you haven't had a client before doesn't mean anything. You've just worked for General Mills before or XYZ Trucking Company. And you can bring all your expertise with you and you don't have to start from ground zero. Here's another example. Venture capital funding. You can read about that in the paper, by the way. I always look for venture capital people. So look at that. Congrats on the $15 million you just received to fund your company's growth initiative in the new market. Based on what I read in the Business Journal, you're going to be ramping up quickly. I've worked with other high-growth firms before and have extensive experience on how to jumpstart new products. I have some ideas that might be of interest. Does that sound different than, are you looking for anybody in your new product area? This way enables you to go in with your expertise intact as somebody who is an idea person who has something of value. You all can do this, every single one of you.